Hello folks, welcome back to the channel. Today on a garage update we're going to discuss some major changes to the Murcielago. It's a freezing cold December day here in West Yorkshire, which is apt because we're also going to discuss supercars and winter. Put them away for a couple of months or keep them out on the road. Whatever your preference, we'll tell you what we do and how we go about it. Jump in the comments section and give us your thoughts on winter motoring. Hibernate your car for a while or power through the snow and the ice.
Welcome to Drivers Keepers. I've got to be honest folks, a few months ago when the car got to, what was it Sam,
302?
I'm having a brainstorm, 302,000 miles. It is at now, but when it hit 300,000 miles, I did have a bit of a wobble. And I just thought, shall I keep the car having done just about everything I've wanted to do in it? Or do I go the opposite way, invest some money in it, and make it so I can drive it through the winter? And let's face it, it's been through the winter for the last 20 years anyway, especially Scandinavian winters as well. So I decided to do the second option. So here we go with a brand new interior. The leather interior came out. A local company offered to put a brand new interior with Alcantara in.
Who was it you used?
Alpha Auto Concepts of Home Firth.
Right.
So they approached me and said, look, we're willing to put you a new interior in, much better suited to winter. Bit of a flash of orange here and there as a nod to the exterior colour.
And it did, I mean, it needed an upgrade anyway, didn't it? Because the interior was getting
tatty. It feels like September the 4th, 2004,
right,
when I picked it up with 64 miles on the clock 20 years ago, with this new interior, because it's got that really fresh, new feeling.
So let's have a look at this new interior then. Oh, mate.
You know what? I'm absolutely delighted with this.
You should be.
You don't really perceive how an new interior on a car can change things. And if you look at the pictures probably popping up on your screen now of the previous interior, it's night and day, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really is. And as I said before, I really wanted to go for something that was Alcantara kind of suede. Alcantara, I believe, is a brand name. Suede is basically what it is. And I wanted to go for something that was warm because this car went up to the Finnish border, would you believe, back in 2017-18. In the winter, it was minus 18. And the bloody leather was absolutely rock hard. It was like concrete and it was freezing. And from that moment on, I thought, you know, I really would, finances permitting, have a nice soft interior. Which, of course, new Lamborghinis and new Ferraris as well. It seems that Alcantara seems to be more and more popular these days, doesn't it? Don't you think?
Holds you in better, doesn't it? You don't slip around on it. It looks so classy, Sam. I love this diamond stitching. Well,
I saw that on another Murcielago, a newer one, and I like the diamond stitching. And I just thought these little touches here that you can see. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, Simon, but the Murcielago. You know, in that particular script that Lamborghini use.
Oh, it matches this on the
laser.
Matches this on the door.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got it on the side of the bolster seat there. You've got Lamborghini also lasered in there.
And I like that you've kept a little bit of orange flashes, but less orange inside than there was before.
There was, yeah. And the orange, there's just a nod to the exterior colour, as I said earlier. The only thing that lets it down now, of course, is the air vents, is the plastic parts, which I'm going to have to decide what I want. I mean, you can buy carbon versions of these, which are quite expensive. I'm going to leave it for the time being, but I might just get these flattered off and repainted just to match the rest of it. But yeah, the little bits, Simon, like the top, you know, this little band of orange around the steering wheel.
12 o'clock thing.
Also, you probably see the picture popping up now of your the whole interior that's been taken out. I mean, they literally took the whole interior
I know.
out.
Scary, wasn't it?
Yeah. Doors came, you know, the door panels off, the whole dashboard was out. I was just a little bit worried that I managed to put it back together all right, and that when I did a left indicator it wouldn't come on right, but it's fine. It works perfectly. They've done a superb job. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, unlike a lot of people who've got cars like this who have a collection, I unfortunately haven't. So I decided that since I go up to Cumbria a lot, and I do like the odd mountain bike or going out on the mountain bike, I'd find a way of putting the mountain bike on the roof.
Which you did.
Which we did. And we came across a company called MountEvo that make a superb, a lovely designed rack, no affiliation by the way, which is designed to fit on any car that's obviously not a convertible. So I was a little bit concerned that the roof of the Murcielago was a bit thin, but I reckon we should be all right. And when I've done this 100-mile journey that I'm just about to go on, if the bike's still there, then we're going to know if it is all right.
If you think this mount could be for you, then jump into the description below where there's an exclusive discount code. We've just mounted it, haven't we? And it feels absolutely rock solid.
Rock solid. Let's just give it a little. I mean, I think you're more used to this, Simon. But
yeah.
Most
there's always
racks,
some movement.
There's always some movement.
But what were you saying? That one of those suckers is enough, and you've got 6?
Yeah. So each one of these suckers will take, I think it's 33 kilos. Now we've got 4 on the front, and we've got 2 on the back. And you can even, on a transit van, for example, in the instructions I was looking, you can mount this so it's actually at 90 degrees to the road.
Wow.
So on the back.
Yeah.
So, it should be all right on a Lamborghini Murcielago. I reckon we'll be all right. I'm always the optimist, Simon.
Yeah.
And I reckon that we should be okay. So, talking about the interior, which you've just seen, let's go up to Brett at Alpha Auto Concepts, who made it, and see just how he did it.
Let's go.
So, we're with Brett from Alpha Auto Concepts that's actually done the interior on the Murcielago that I am absolutely delighted with, I've got to say. Brett, thanks a lot. Just take us around the interior again, because when I first came to see you, I was going to get it a lot more modern.
Yeah.
And then I went back to the Alcantara, suede idea.
Yeah.
But you were surprised at how nice it looked yourself, weren't you? When
this, obviously, as we're doing it, I always have an idea in my head what something's going to look like.
Yeah.
I can always visualise a car interior before I've even started it.
Yeah.
And obviously, the first conversation I would sort of give it a modern feel, like the Rivalta, which obviously I did some artwork for. But you obviously wanted to keep the more heritage side to this car, which now it's finished, I think it was the right idea because it suits the car. This is how it was intended to come out of Lamborghini anyway, even though we've added a bit more of a flair to it.
Correct. And the reason I wanted it, as I mentioned earlier in the video, suede or Alcantara, is simply because it's much warmer in the winter. And you'll agree with that, won't you?
It's just 100%. A lot of my cars normally have Alcantara or whatever as the centre and leather on the sides normally, because I'm the same.
Yeah.
When it's cold, I'd rather be sat on something warm. It's the same sometimes on steering wheel. It'll have a bit here where your hands are and stuff like that. So I just do that rather than full leather, just because, it's bloody cold in winter to get into. It is.
But what I also like, and what a lot of people have pointed out to me, is these little touches you've done. Like the, I don't know if you can bring the camera up, Simon, and just see the Lamborghini on the side bolster. And also Murcielago on the air conditioning cover, which that's done by a special machine, I take it.
Well, yeah, basically, in this modern era now with cars, because as technology moves on in the trim world, obviously there's new devices out there that we can use to enhance people's interiors. We can copy any sort of design, laser etch that in, and it is perfect.
It is perfect.
In the past, we'd have had to have like a stamp made, which I have in there for people that want, like you'll see it on Lamborghini, if it's in leather it'll be pushed out with the bull sign, and you see it on Ferraris and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We have a lot of them tools in there, but they're expensive and you've got to wait for them to be made, and sometimes you have to order them from further afield. Whereas this, we've got the machine. It's just half an hour sat down, whatever else,
it's such a
and then we're already
touch.
doing it, and it's not holding us up now, but we're not waiting for something.
No. I've got to bring you up on what you said earlier when we were inside. about how with these sort of cars, with supercars, bespoke supercars, it's much more difficult to get the full interior out and put everything back as to how it was before.
Yeah, because these are very much a hand-built car, and back then, what we find out when you've not done one before, and then one comes through doors, you start pulling it apart, and then you realise it's very much a hand-built car. Because there's washers everywhere where stuff doesn't fit. They've put something there to try and fill a gap. And naturally as well, over the years, this car's been worked on many times, as you know. And different people have done stuff, and they try and fix it their way. We come along and realise, well, that's not going back the way it should, so then we have to slightly modify things. So it's just another process of what goes on with all the cars.
I guess it all adds to the labour though, doesn't it?
Because
you're talking a lot more, you know, hours putting an interior together or back together like this one.
100%.
Because I mean, you had the whole thing out, didn't you? You had the dashboard out. You sent me that picture when you were doing it, and there was no dashboard in it at all. And I was just like, flipping heck, I just couldn't believe it. But it's you forget just what a big job it is putting a full interior on a supercar.
Like the dashboard, what you meant? We had to strip that right back, and that meant get all the old foam off, get everything off, because obviously it had some areas where it had some damage. And we had to re-fiberglass that, fill it, smooth it all out, reapply all a foam of very similar to what was put on there at the beginning, and then obviously make our patterns and stitch it all up so it just looked like a factory. That is so time consuming, where somebody just thinks it's a piece of material wrapped on it. It isn't.
Let's go back in your workshop and just have a look at
have a look.
The tools you use to do something of this quality.
Yeah.
So we're actually in Brett's workshop, and we were just discussing how long it actually took to do the interior, because probably people are going to want to know watching this video. But how long was it again, Brett?
Basically, you're looking between 3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks.
Yeah,
for that
and
full
that's
interior.
if we don't come across any problems.
Yeah.
And obviously there were a few little problems on yours, so that all adds to... These are all things you don't know until you get into it. With older cars, it's just part and parcel. Take something apart, something falls apart, and then you've got to rectify that before you start trimming it.
And it all adds to the labour, doesn't it?
Yeah, and every car is different, trust me.
I can imagine.
When we work on Mercs and stuff like that, they are such a time-consuming car to pull apart. They actually take longer. It all depends. Every car is different. There's no set time that every car is going to take that amount of time. I
can imagine. And that brings me to the thorny issue of cost, because I guess with that car, it was round about, what, 9,000?
Yeah, it's around that. It's prices vary all the time. That's the thing.
Especially in this day and age, because everything's going up in cost.
Well,
materials.
It's like, it's materials. There's different levels of leather as well. You know, the quality can go up, and then there's design. If somebody wants something totally bespoke, then we're redesigning something, or somebody might want a bit fatter seats, or they might want heated seats putting in, they might want a stereo put in. It can just carry on, and then we custom building panels and stuff like that.
Because you're doing, just talk us through what you're doing, because that obviously caught my eye, the blue, and that's going to be in a Mustang, I believe. Yeah,
that's a customer's car in there. It's pretty much, that is a full-blown custom interior we're doing.
With that colour, it's going to be, but what a stunning
It's a colour I've been waiting to do for a long time, and I've managed to persuade somebody to see my vision on it.
Who shall remain nameless.
Yeah, he knows who he is. And it's going to look awesome, because it's a black Mustang, and when you open the door, that's
you're going to be confronted with that. I tell you what, that's after a hangover, that's going to really set you going in it.
In the other area over there, we have a big CNC machine that basically can do all different types of stitch patterns for us.
Got you.
It's a bit like on this. You can see on this little sample seat
here.
Yes,
actually that's a good example, because
it's got the Lambo bits on it.
Is that Rivolto?
Well, we've got Rival there, under there, lasered on. We just used it as an example. And it's a bit like that sort of design.
Yeah. So with the Mustang, obviously, so Brett, is this the one that's having a Tiffany blue?
Yeah, this is the colour, obviously, against the paintwork.
Goodness me.
So you can see how a contrast we're going to get.
That is certainly going to be a contrast.
Yeah, and we're literally we're putting him all groove discs on, and we're painting his calipers.
Goodness me. I didn't realise you went that far. I thought you just stuck to trim.
Well, we normally do, but on certain cars we will.
Yeah.
If need be, do the whole thing, because obviously it's here.
So Brett, what on earth is going on with this?
That's the comedy Mustang stroke donkey.
So thanks again to Brett and all the lads at Alpha Auto Concepts for doing a fantastic job and showing us round.
Now let's go over and get a winter update on the 430. So guys, you joined me here in Drivers Keepers HQ, aka my garage, where, as you can see, the 430 is getting some slightly different treatment compared to Simon's car. Simon, as we've seen, uses his car throughout the winter, probably a little bit less than he does in the summer, but he doesn't take it off the road. Whereas I choose to hibernate the 430, probably for 2 months, 3 maximum. It's not that I won't take it out. Certainly it's been out before on New Year's Day, and if there's a good reason to get it out in the winter, it'll go out, but generally it stays tucked away. So anyway, I was just going to talk to you a little bit about how I put my car to bed for the winter. One of the things that I do is every 6 to 8 weeks come in here and start it up. I'll operate everything, windows up and down, indicators, lights, put it into gear, just everything, make sure that everything gets used. And I think quite importantly as well, let it get up to temperature. Just turning it on, letting it tick over for a few minutes and then turning it off isn't great. So let your car, or I certainly let my car get up to temperature, get all the liquids where they need to be, and then turn it off, let it cool down before I recover it. Okay, let's look at the video I made earlier about how I put my car into hibernation. So after a thorough wash and having let it dry for a few days, I go over it once more just to make sure it's completely dust free using this Autoglim Rapid Detailer. So then I park it tight up against the wall so that Mrs. E can get her car in and out, and I park it on these things called tyre shoes. And what they do is they allow the car to maintain the correct shape of the tyre for however long you leave it parked. You don't get flat spots. I have parked it up once without them and did get flat spots. With them, it's never an issue. I also always set a mouse trap because you can never be too careful, and I don't want one crawling up into the car, making a nest and eating all my wiring. Also super important to keep the battery conditioned. I use one of these C-Tech chargers that everyone in the world seems to use at the end of a trailing extension. Don't use something like this because unless you undo all of the wire, it's a fire hazard. And then just connect it to your car battery. I have mine wired up with this convenient little plug behind the passenger seat. So after ensuring that all my doors are shutting properly, making the garage as weatherproof as possible, it's on with the dehumidifier, and that's it. So there we go, pretty much done and dusted and ready for winter. I'll put the dust sheet on in a minute and then we're good to go. If you put your car away for the winter, then I hope you found something there that was of use. And let's look forward to the spring.
Right, hope you enjoyed that episode, folks. It's the last episode before Christmas as well, so do have a very happy Christmas and a great new year. But before we go, please can I ask you if we're really after people commenting, so please leave us some comments, whether you like our videos or you don't like them, or what you don't like about them or what you do like about them. Let us know. So again, have a great Christmas, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next year.
See you sometime in January. Thanks for watching.